Alternating voltage or alternating current means alternating current voltage and alternating current which is contradictory. Still this abbreviation is universally accepted. So with this abbreviation alternating current we will start this chapter. AC voltage applied to a resistor. Consider an AC source which produces sinusoidally varying potential difference across its terminals given by V equal to Vm sin omega t. Here Vm is the amplitude of the oscillating potential difference or amplitude of the oscillating voltage. In AC, the potential difference is also called the voltage. Omega, here omega is called the angular frequency. You see in the circuit diagram, this is the AC source. This is the symbol for AC source, and the AC source is connected to a resistance R. In the AC source, the potential difference V equal to Vm sin omega t. Potential difference across this AC source V equal to Vm sin omega t. Applying Kirchhoff's loop rule or Kirchhoff's voltage rule in a closed loop, total potential drop is equal to 0. This is a closed loop. So the total potential drop is equal to 0. That is the sum of the potential drop in this AC source plus the sum of the IR drop in this resistance will be equal to 0. That is the potential drop at the AC source must be equal to the IR drop in the resistance R. The potential drop at the AC source is Vm sin omega t, and the potential at the resistance, that is the IR drop is equal to I into R. So I will be equal to Vm divided by R into sin omega t. Here R is called the resistance of the resistor. So here Vm by R, that is equal to Im, or called the current amplitude. So you can write for the current equation I equal to Im into sin omega t. Equation 1 gives the voltage across a pure resistor, and equation 2 gives the current across a pure resistor. If we plot a graph taking omega t or theta along the x-axis and voltage and current along y-axis, then you will get. So in this figure you see omega t or theta along x-axis, which is a function of time, and we have taken the voltage and current along the y-axis. Then this will be the nature of the graph or the nature of the sine curve. From the graph it is clear that in a pure resistor the voltage and current are in phase. You see the black curve is the curve for the current, and the blue curve, this is the curve for the voltage, and voltage and current both are at the same, are in phase. That is at a particular instant. If you draw two vectors at a particular instant, then the two vectors make same angle with the time axis. And from the graph you will also see that the minima, this is the minima, you see this is the minima, the zero, this is the zero, and this is the maxima. Okay, the maxima, zero and minima are at the same respective time. Suppose at this time t by 4, if the total time from this to this is equal to t, up to this time it is t by 2, up to this time it is t by 4. So at time t by 4, the maxima for the voltage curve is same as the maxima for the current curve. Similarly, at time t by 2, the 0 for the voltage curve is same as the 0 for the current curve. Similarly, at time 3t by 4, you will see the minima for the current curve is same as the minima for the voltage curve. And you see from the figure, the voltage and current, they vary sinusoidally, and the sum of the instantaneous current over a complete cycle will be equal to 0. You see from this graph, the sum of the instantaneous current over one complete cycle will be equal to 0. The average current over a complete cycle is also equal to 0. The average current over a complete cycle is also equal to 0. So these are the points we get from the curve. In a pure resistor, the voltage and current are in phase. The minima, 0 and maxima occur at the same respective time. The voltage and current varies sinusoidally. Sum of the instantaneous current over a complete cycle is equal to 0. Average current over a complete cycle is equal to 0. Though the average current over a complete cycle is equal to 0, the average power consumed is not equal to 0. There is a dissipation of electrical energy in the form of heat. So it is a question why the average current over a complete AC cycle is equal to 0, but the average power consumed is not 0. Why? When an AC current passes through a resistor, dissipation of electrical energy occurs due to Joule heating. And we know Joule heating is equal to I square R. So Joule heating depends upon I square, not on I. But I square is not equal to 0. I square is positive. That is why the average power consumed is not equal to 0. Now let us find out the instantaneous power dissipated in the resistor. What is the expression for the instantaneous power dissipated in the resistor? We know from the DC power that power P is the product of potential and current. In terms of current, power is equal to I square into R. So P is equal to I square into R. But in case of AC current, I equal to Im sin omega t. So I square will be equal to Im square into R sin square omega t. Now, what will be the average value of the power over a complete cycle? The average value of power is written as P average or P bar, that is equal to I square R average, that is equal to average of Im square R sin square omega t. Since Im square and R are constants, we can take it outside. So power average is equal to Im square R into average of sin square omega t. Now we will find out what is the average value of sin square omega t. From trigonometry we know cos 2 theta is equal to cos square theta minus sin square theta, or that is equal to 1 minus 2 sin square theta, or sin square theta is equal to 1 minus cos 2 theta divided by 2. Similarly, you can write sin square omega t as half into 1 minus cos 2 omega t. So for average value of sin square omega t, it will be equal to half of 1 minus average value of cos 2 omega t. Now we will find out what is the average value of cos 2 omega t. Remember, the average value of a function over a period t is given by ft, that is equal to 1 by t integration from 0 to t ft dt. So we have to find out the average value of cos 2 omega t. So that can be written as 1 by t integration from 0 to t cos 2 omega t dt. And we know the integration of cos 2 omega t dt is sin 2 omega t divided by 2 omega, and in value of integration from 0 to t. If you substitute the value of t here, then it will be equal to sin 2 omega t divided by 2 omega minus sine 0 is equal to 0, so it is equal to 0. But we know omega is equal to twice pi by t, or omega t is equal to twice pi. So if you substitute omega t is equal to twice pi here, this will be equal to sine 4 pi. So cos omega t, average value of cos 2 omega t will be equal to 1 by t sine 4 pi divided by 2 omega minus 0. That will be equal to 0, because sine 4 pi is equal to 0. This factor will be 0. So cos 2 omega t will be equal to 0. So if you substitute the value of cos 2 omega t equal to 0 in equation 2, then we will get the average value of sine square omega t will be equal to half. So average value of sine square omega t is equal to half. Putting the value of the average value of sine square omega t in equation 1, you see in this equation, if you substitute the average value of sine square omega t is equal to half, then average power will be equal to half of Im square r. So the power distributed through the resistor P average will be equal to half of Im square into r. Now let us discuss what is root mean square value or effective value of alternating current. We know DC power P equal to I square into r. But AC power, which is called average AC power, P average is equal to half of Im square into r. So to express AC power in the same form as DC power, we define a special value of current called the root mean square value or effective value or RMS value of current. So to write DC power same as AC power, we have to write I square is equal to half of Im square. That is, I will be equal to Im divided by root 2. And this current, DC current, is called the RMS value of the AC current. IRMS, or written as I, or in some books it is written as IDC. That will be equal to Im divided by root 2. 1 by root 2 is equal to 0.707. So IRMS is equal to 0.707 into Im. So 0.707 times the peak value of the current, it will give you the RMS value of current. Similarly, the RMS voltage or effective voltage will be equal to V or VDC or VRMS, that is equal to Vm divided by root 2, and that will be equal to 0.707 times the Vm, or the peak value of voltage, 0.0707 times the peak value of voltage. In the figure you see, suppose this is the instantaneous current I equal to Im sin omega t, and this is the peak value of current Im. You see, this is the peak value of current, and this is the RMS value of current. That this is the value is equal to Im by root 2, which is equal to 0.707 Im, this value, and this is called the DC value of current. What is the advantage of introducing the concept of RMS value? Relation between voltage and current in AC circuits are essentially same as those for the DC case. By taking the RMS value of voltage and current, the AC will be same as DC. Now work out a problem. A light bulb is rated at 100 watt. So power of the bulb is given 100 watt for a 220 volt supply, that is potential is given 220 volt, and the resistance of the bulb, find out the resistance of the bulb. The resistance of the bulb is given by the formula V square divided by P, because power is equal to V square by R, so R is equal to V square by P. V value is given, P value is given, so R can be calculated, 484 ohm. The second question is the peak voltage of the source. The peak voltage, that is the Vm. Vm is the peak voltage of the source, that is equal to root 2 times the DC voltage or RMS voltage, that is equal to root 2 into V, so 311 volt. Then third question is the RMS current through the bulb. The RMS current is equal to the power divided by the DC voltage. The value of power is given 100 watt and the value of DC voltage it is given 220 volt. So the RMS current will be equal to 0.450 ampere.